Hey folks, Michael McGee here. In today's video, we're going to do a very special ham recipe with a deer. I know it's been a long time since deer season closed, and you're probably thinking, now we've done caught you now, you poacher. No, not so fast. We have been aging this deer in my neighbor's cooler for 3.5 weeks. That's unheard of. This may end up being rotten, I don't know. But a friend of mine that watches this channel sent me this recipe and I want to try it. It's my last chance because barring a roadkill deer or something, I'm not going to get another whole bone-in deer ham for quite some time. So here's our ingredients. Right here, and right here. The ingredients is this. 2 gallons of water. We already poured that in there. 2.5 cups of kosher salt. 2 cups of packed brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of yellow mustard seed, 20 black peppercorns, 8 juniper berries, 6 bay leaves, and 8 cloves of garlic. I don't see no garlic around here. Where's my garlic? She's gonna laugh at me. It also calls for a tablespoon of curing salt. It called for Prager powder number 1. All I've got that has the nitrates in it is Tender Quick, so I'm just going to substitute it. It only calls for a tablespoon of that anyway. And so it's got the nitrates, which I have never used on this channel. You've never seen me use a nitrate or nitrite, but this deer leg has been hanging around literally 3.5 weeks. I think we might ought to use something to sort of help preserve it. And since I had this on hand from years ago anyway, I thought, well, I'm going to use it. So I'm going to throw all that in this water real quick and get it on the stove to boil. It's got to come to a good boil. Then we're going to let it cool off and we're going to get our deer ham in it. Got our brine made, boiled, and we took it outside where it's 30 degrees and chilled it down. So it's cold. Now it's time to trim up our ham. I think I'm going to take it down. I'm going to take the shank off of this baby. The way this is dried down, that may be somewhat of a challenge to find exactly where to cut. I think I found it. Look at that. Beautiful. I just happened to hit the knuckle. When you add to that the fact that this is a very sharp Victorinox, things happen. So anyway, the Victorinox knife was given to me by another YouTuber by the name of Longbow Banjo, and if you followed me very long, you already know about old Longbow. You'll be seeing him later. He comes up here and hunts every year, and I'm really hoping he'll come up here and hunt again. McGee, hunting season's over. No, only deer hunting season's over. He is a deer processor. He don't care nothing about hunting deer. He gets so sick of deer. He's a rabbit hunter, and I don't hunt rabbits until he comes and brings his dogs. He got the best dogs in the world. All right. Now, one thing that I'm going to do, since this is going to be a cured meat, I'm going to take this off just like we would if we were making a pork ham, because I want this cured to be able to get into here. We'll take this down to this ball joint and get rid of it. Here's that ball joint right here. That is not the easiest joint in the world to get apart. We may just have to unscrew him. There we go. There we go. Now, You can see, plain as day now, what we're dealing with. There's just a single bone in there. The ball joint's right here, plain as day. Now, what we're gonna do is fillet off all this dry aged meat, because it's not going to be allowing our salt and our sugar to go right in too easy. So we're just gonna trim all that off like this, and this will make some fine dog food. All right, here we have this absolutely beautiful deer ham. Even though we trimmed it off, it's still tacky. 3.5 weeks is a long time to age something, folks. Long time. I like it. I like it a lot. What that means is it's going to be very receptive to this liquid. Now what they tell us to do at this point is to do this. I thought we didn't have one. My wife went and looked. We do have one. An injector. We're going to be having some fun. I'm going to draw up a nice big bit of that. And we're just going to shoot it up. I ain't never shot up nothing in my life. Now what this says in the recipe that my buddy gave me, saturate that baby to the bone, plumb to the bone. So we're just gonna give it to it. I like this. I like this a lot. This right here is your round tip. Here's your bottom round, your eye round, and your top round. What this does is accelerate the curing process so it don't have to stay in the brine as long. We're giving it to it. And this here is already pretty dehydrated, so it's going to be wanting to soak that in very nicely. All right, we're going to take this leg. We're going to see how it fits down in this pot. It looks very good. It's just the right amount too to completely cover it. Oh, the temperature's in the 30s outside, and it's not supposed to be changing much over the next week or so. This here, we're just going to leave this in for about 5 to 6 days, and then it should be ready to take out and cook. All right, folks, here is the brine. I don't know what color I expected this to be when I pulled it out, but I didn't really think it would look like caramel. But that is beautiful. I'm really liking the way that looks. That is so tender feeling. What I've got to do now, I have got to get this thing rinsed off. I've got my smoker already fired up. Not the smokehouse. This is not cold smoke. This is hot smoke. We want the internal temperature of this baby to hit 150. So I'm going to get it out there. As soon as I rinse it off, we're going to put it in there and start getting this thing cooked. You got me a place to rinse this meat off, son? I got to rinse this off, son. Ain't that a pretty looking ham?
Too fat.
Too fat? Where's fat? I don't see no fat.
No, fat on that.
That ain't fat. There's no fat on that. That's a deer leg. I'm going to rinse this baby off, okay? Okay, son. Is it okay with you if I rinse it on now?
Thank you.
All right, we got us a good hot fire going. This thing is slick. When you cure one like that, they're very slick, and once they slide around, very easy to dump it out accidentally. We didn't do it, but it sure would have liked to have dumped out. It looks so tender. All right. Let the games begin. Time to take a little peek. Sneak peek. Mamma mia. All right, so I came out here and checked it with my thermometer, and guess what? Exactly 150. There's still juice coming out. I think we're in great shape. I'm gonna take it in. I'm gonna let it rest for about 30 minutes or so. And we're gonna slice in this bad boy and see what we got. All right, folks. I'm just a little bit excited. What I see here, I think that this char needs to come off. Now, I may be wrong. Maybe that crust will taste good. I'm gonna take a little taste of it. It's salty, salty, salty. I might have left it too long, but I'm gonna trim some of this outside off, and that should help this. Look how, it's not red, Mom, it's cured. Unbelievable. I want you to look at that. Woo, doggies, that's beautiful. I'm gonna take a deep cut here and get to this middle. I just have a feeling that very center is where it's gonna be at. Monsieur, beautimous. With the 150-degree internal temperature, that is perfect. The beauty is exquisite. All right, get a nice big piece, boys and girls. Yank it up out of there. Come on, man. What did you put on your roll, man? Honey. Cynthia made the rolls. Can I have a roll, please? And some green beans and some sweet tater. Oh my. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take my first taste of the good deep interior where that meat is perfect. Wow. It got enough of the cure. It's just the perfect saltiness. I think I left it for about 6 days. Wow. Have to say a huge thank you to Andy Eddings for sending me that recipe. It was absolutely the last second as far as our deer situation. If I hadn't put that deer in my neighbor's cooler and held it for 3.5 weeks, I wouldn't have had that recipe in time. But it worked out great. Shot me a nice buck right at the very last day of the season. Anybody need butter? So we have a different deer ham video, a couple of them. Just salt and cold smoke and slice. This here actually gets your temperature up to 150 internal temperature. So if you're afraid to eat meat that has not been brought up to temperature, this would be a much better way for you to go. I don't know if this has storage capabilities. Of course, you could always freeze it. It'd be just fine. I think in the recipe I read, it said you can refrigerate it for up to 2 weeks or something like that. This one is not going to be around that long. But anyway, I got to taste this roll. You know what? That right there, a marriage made in heaven. Frank does not know what he missed today. If he'd have known, he might have stayed. I got to say a huge thank you to my sister that lives in Alberta and her husband Edwin that give me this honey. It wasn't just this small jar. It was a 2.5 gallon bucket. I'm not sure, big bucket. And this honey is raw honey that's been whipped. That is so good. It's just hard to believe that it could be that good. Clover honey, raw honey, whipped honey. Straight out of Alberta, Canada. Oh, I know what you want. But that's all we've got for you today. I'm going to get on out of here and eat my ham sandwich. Y'all have a great day. If you can, make this recipe. You won't have no legal opportunity to shoot another deer for a while, but you can save it and watch it later and do it then. Or else you could try it with a mangalitsa pork. My buddy that gave me this recipe said it's good for wild turkeys. He said it's good for beaver hams. It's good for pork, beef, you just name it and you can do it. So you don't have to wait till deer season rolls back around. Lay it on it, folks. We're going to get out of here. We hope you have a great day. We'll see you on the next video. Bye.